Iranian forces silently move into American waters. August 14th, 2025. In the calm yet treacherous seas off the coast of Oregon, a nighttime nightmare is taking shape. In less than an hour, Iran has deployed 30 specialized landing ships, on board 120 main battle tanks, 60 armored personnel carriers, and 500 elite Marines. The goal is simple, yet audacious: seize a small, isolated American town, fortify it, and turn it into a launch pad for deeper incursions into US territory. Iranian commanders are convinced the plan is flawless, but they do not yet realize they are sailing straight into a trap, one that will destroy them in mere minutes. High above the ocean, at 65,000 feet, an American stealth drone, invisible to radar, tracks their every move, updating its data every 5 seconds. On the shore, coastal missile batteries stand ready. Beneath the waves, an American nuclear submarine in firing position, and over the operation zone, 80 armed drones circle silently, ready to unleash their deadly payload. The question is, how exactly will America spring the trap, and is Iran already caught in it? 2:15 in the morning, August 14th, Northern Pacific Ocean, 180 nautical miles west of Astoria, Oregon. The cold, glassy water swells under the heavy advance of Iran's most daring military gamble in decades. In the pitch-black darkness, 30 landing craft slice through the waves in silence. Their engines run in low-noise mode to evade sonar and satellite detection. Each ship carries a lethal load: 4 55-ton main battle tanks, 2 armored carriers, and around 17 elite Iranian Marines. The entire fleet bears 120 tanks, 60 armored vehicles, 500 heavily armed Marines, over 6,000 tons of armored steel. On board, more than 250,000 rounds of ammunition, 600 anti-tank missiles, and enough explosives to erase a small town from the map in 40 minutes. The target, a tiny fishing town, fewer than 4,000 residents. Its only defense is a single outdated coastal radar covering barely 300 meters of shoreline. It is the weakest link in America's coastal defense system. Iran's plan is clear: land, crush resistance, and dig in for further operations inland. To avoid detection, all communications run on military-grade 256-bit encryption. The ships maintain strict radio silence, their formation mimicking scattered cargo vessels. On the bridge of the lead ship, Iranian commanders study maps and landing timetables. They are certain they hold the element of surprise. They believe the United States does not see their approach, but at 65,000 feet, an American stealth drone has had them in its sights for hours. Every 5 seconds it transmits fresh targeting data to US Navy headquarters. The jaws of the trap are already closing, and Iran has no idea. From the moment the drone locked onto the convoy, the US Fleet Command Center in Pearl Harbor began receiving a full spectrum of intel, down to the heat signature of every single soldier. Within 90 seconds, encrypted alerts were relayed to the Pacific Fleet headquarters in San Diego. There, they launched Operation Black Tide, a rapid destruction protocol designed to annihilate any seaborne invasion in under 15 minutes. The strategy is simple and merciless: do not fire until the enemy enters the pre-calculated kill zone, a deadly corridor 22 nautical miles wide and 35 miles long. Inside it, American weapons can strike every vessel simultaneously. 3 strike forces are in play: 80 MQ-25 Stingray drones, each armed with 2 500-pound precision bombs. The Virginia-class nuclear submarine USS North Dakota, gliding silently at 820 feet depth, moving at 25 knots, and 2 coastal missile batteries with 24 Harpoon launchers, each missile capable of ripping a ship in half. In the command center, 14 giant screens displaying every movement of the Iranian fleet. Commanders note the speed: 14 knots. Calculations show 27 minutes until they cross into the kill zone. Iranian captains still believe the ocean is empty. They have no idea. 80 drones are circling overhead, and a submarine trails them just 12 miles behind. The noose tightens, and when the first strike comes, it will hit with more than 100 tons of explosives in under 1 minute. 2:42 in the morning, Northern Pacific Ocean, the Iranian flotilla crosses an invisible line, the boundary of the kill zone. At that exact moment, in the command center, a red light flashes. The operations commander speaks briefly. Confirmed. Enemy in the zone. Weapons free. The sky comes alive. 80 MQ-25 Stingray strike drones dive from 20,000 feet. Bomb bays swing open. 160 precision-guided bombs drop toward their targets. The first wave engulfs the lead ships. Explosions rip through the water. Fireballs soar higher than the masts. Shards of metal rain down as massive waves sweep across the decks. Iranian communications switch to emergency frequencies. Shouts, frantic orders, chaos. But there's no time to react. The submarine USS North Dakota joins the fight. From a depth of 820 feet, it launches 6 Mark 48 torpedoes, each weighing nearly 2 tons, moving at over 55 knots. They strike beneath the landing craft, tearing them in half. At the same time, 24 Harpoon missiles launch from the coast. Guided by inertial navigation, they streak straight toward the center of the fleet. Each one punches through the hull, detonating inside, flooding the vessel with fire and shrapnel. In the first 90 seconds of the attack, 12 Iranian ships are destroyed. 7 more are critically damaged, sinking or burning. Above, the drones swing around for a second strike. Now they target those attempting to flee back into the open ocean. Iranian commanders shout over the radio, ordering a retreat, a desperate search for safety. But the escape corridor is already sealed. Torpedoes and missiles crush the rear of the column. The third drone strike becomes the final chord of Operation Black Tide. By 2:49 in the morning, the water holds only burning wreckage, oil slicks, and a handful of survivors clinging to overturned rafts. In just 7 minutes and 40 seconds, American forces have obliterated the entire Iranian landing fleet. Not a single one of the 500 Marines reaches shore. 120 tanks and 60 armored vehicles now rest on the ocean floor within a 12-mile radius. For another 20 minutes, the drones patrol the kill zone, recording every fragment for analysis, and the USS North Dakota silently turns and slips back into the depths, leaving behind nothing but bubbles and darkness. At Pacific Fleet Command, the results are logged. Enemy losses 100%, US losses 0. The operation is over. But far beyond the battlefield, in intelligence offices around the world, the realization is already sinking in. This was not just a victory, it was a message. The United States can strike instantly, anywhere on Earth. And no one, not even in total darkness, can approach undetected. By morning, a thick layer of smoke hangs over the battlefield. The sun slowly rises, casting light on black oil slicks and twisted wreckage. Seagulls circle above the water. Silence. On shore, US Marines are already receiving the first reports. Satellite images confirm not a single enemy ship made it out. At the Pentagon, analysts break down the attack second by second. Those 7 minutes and 40 seconds become a case study for anyone who ever doubted the speed and precision of modern US forces. Around the world, questions begin to surface. If Iran's invasion fleet could be wiped out in mere minutes, what fate could await any nation daring to enter a direct conflict? In a closed briefing, the president receives a short report: threat neutralized, no losses. The only reply, good. But in those 2 words lies everything. This was not just a victory in a single operation, it was a demonstration of absolute control over the sea and the sky. On the other side of the planet, inside rival command centers, emergency changes are made to war plans. The understanding is simple: the next strike could come without warning, and there will be no time to respond. Somewhere in the depths of the Pacific Ocean, the USS North Dakota continues its silent patrol, invisible, elusive, ready for its next order. After the victory in the Persian Gulf, an information war begins. Iranian media release statements about a false attack. State television airs old footage of military parades trying to prove that the fleet is still intact. But Western satellites record a different reality: empty piers, silence at the bases, and an endless stream of trucks hauling away wreckage. In Washington, closed-door meetings take place. Generals discuss not only the military, but also the political cost of the operation. Official statements remain restrained, but leaks make it clear the United States is ready to act preemptively in other parts of the world as well. Against this backdrop, China and Russia intensify their naval patrols. New radars appear in the South China Sea, and unusual submarine activity is detected in the Arctic. The world slowly begins to realize the era of long wars is ending. It is being replaced by an era of lightning-fast surgical strikes, and somewhere in command centers, strategists understand the next operation is already being planned, and it will begin just as suddenly. Immediately after the incident, intelligence agencies detect a surge of activity in encrypted communication channels. Codes are changed, routes are adjusted, and in several countries, preparations for large-scale naval exercises are quietly shut down. In London, on Downing Street, an emergency meeting of the National Security Council is convened. The Prime Minister listens to the intelligence briefing and asks only one question: how much time will we have if this happens in Europe? The answer: minutes. In Brussels, NATO headquarters updates maps, shifting red markers ever closer to vulnerable points. On the screens, new refueling and evacuation routes light up. Meanwhile, in Tehran, a purge begins. The commanders who allowed the destruction of the fleet vanish from public view. Officially, retired. Unofficially, no one speaks of their fate. On social media, footage begins to appear. Night convoys of military trucks leaving coastal areas, panic, or preparation for a response. The Pentagon remains silent, but sources claim that additional spy satellites are already operating in orbit. Their mission? To track any movement anywhere on the planet. US Navy ships seem to return to routine patrols, but everyone understands routine no longer means safe. In the corridors of the United Nations, diplomats speak of the unacceptability of unilateral actions, but behind closed doors, even opponents admit the scenario played out in the Persian Gulf has become the benchmark for modern warfare, and somewhere, deep within strategic command centers, a new chess game is slowly being arranged. Every move is the fate of entire nations, every piece, a warship, an aircraft, or an invisible submarine. The world stands at the threshold of a new era, an era where the future is measured not in years, not even in months, but in seconds.